ever use pronouns. Ever.
It messes things up. And even I see it now, but when someone is reading it, it's just one of those things that's confusing. So here's an example. Group A and B were given tablets to take in the morning. They took the tablets at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. What do I mean by they? Who's they?
You could have been in a different example.
Okay, so they could mean group A, they could mean group B, it could mean group A and group B. We don't know which one took it at 9, which one took it at 10. Did they both take it at 9 and 10? We don't know. We don't know. This is where being descriptive comes back in. Instead of using these pronouns and to be like shorthand, you just have to write it out again. It sounds redundant, it sounds silly, but you have to do it. Otherwise, you get something like this and it's very confusing. Any questions about that, about pronouns? What are pronouns? Do you guys know what they are? Like they, give some examples so we all clear. We, come on, we, us, our, yeah, those are forbidden. Okay?
It is a very common one. When you're talking about an instrument, a piece of equipment, especially in the sciences, it is very easy to say. Never say it. I don't know what it you're talking about when I'm reading, and I don't want to have to go back and find out what you just wrote to me. Tell me what it is. The computer, the FPLC, the fax, whatever it is that you're working with, don't use it, because it's the easiest one. He and she, that one, usually you don't use, unless you've named your mice or something like that, which happens, but use their names.
So what if we establish what it is first, and then later on in the same
Never.
sentence?
No, that only works for an abbreviation where, like AIDS, for example. AIDS is an acronym. You establish what AIDS means the first time you use it. After that, you can say AIDS. It can change from sentence to sentence. So it doesn't work for that one.
Any other questions about pronouns? I know you're attached to them. We've used them forever, but they must die. They must we must never see them again.
Would you rather us put like the computer blah 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 comma, and then if you're saying like the computer, would you rather have like a sentence with two nouns in it instead of using a pronoun? Like, wouldn't that get annoying?
Finish the sentence. Let me hear the sentence.
Okay, let me think of something.
Like when I turn the computer on it.
Okay, yeah, the computer wasn't working, but we took the computer to the store. Or the computer wasn't working, so we took the computer to the store. You would rather us, right?
There's some other technical issues in there, but that would be
yeah.
okay to
I was
say.
just
That's
like,
okay because it's off the top of your head. That would be fine. Repeat it again. Okay, something you need to know about scientific writing, it is highly repetitive. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this. You repeat yourself so many times, you get tired. Yes. In any document that you have, you're going to repeat yourself over and over and over again. It's something you have to get used to. It's part of scientific writing because of all these rules that we have, because we don't use it or they or something like that. You constantly have to refer to the item itself. So you can't use pronouns. And so, yeah, it is repetitive.
And sometimes we have something like that where it doesn't seem like there's another way. Just redo the whole sentence. Like redo the structure of the sentence. And to make it a little easier for the audience to read. Yeah, it does sound redundant, so just do it over. Like, don't get attached to these sentences that you guys make. Like, don't get attached to your papers. It's not that deep. What's really serious is that the audience or your professor understand what you're trying to say. Okay? I saw another hand on that side. Yes.
So if we write one sentence with a specific subject, but then we have to immediately write another sentence after that sentence that has the same subject, we just repeat the subject then instead of saying it.
You don't have to have the same sentence structure where it sounds redundant, but you have to state it again. All right, punctuation. Use periods and commas appropriately. That, anyone have any questions about that? Because it sounds funny, but people do use periods and commas inappropriately. Yeah, okay. All right. when you're using a colon, this is a pet peeve of mine. The format to use a colon is you have a complete thought, you have the colon, and then you have a list. Okay? So between A and B, which one is correct?
A.
Who says A? Who says B? So A is correct because it's a complete thought. Just think of it as the colon being a period. Okay? It's a period in the colon because it's a period. It has to be a complete thought and then the list follows after the colon. Okay? And for this class and forever and ever, don't use dashes or semicolons. I know it sounds weird, guys, but scientific writing is very concise and very to the point where you don't have to use dashes and semicolons to start a new sentence or use a comma, but don't use it. Just periods, colons, and commas. Not dashes and semicolons. Okay? So, do you feel like this girl here looks like it's a lot? You don't understand? Yes? No? Okay. It's okay because scientific writing takes lots of practice. Even I am not an expert in it. It's nothing scarier to me than a blank Word document. It is scary. Sometimes I just type just random things on there so I can just feel like it's not blank. Even though it's like, lyrics to a song, in my mind, it's better than nothing. Okay? So don't fret if it's not easy to you because it's going to take lots of practice. You're not going to be an expert in it after this class. But on the other side of the coin, no one's going to teach you this. But the expectation when you get to college is that you already know this. Okay? One more tidbit that I forgot to put in there is you don't use quotes in scientific writing. I know, clutch your pearl, I get it. We don't use quotes.
Write that down.
We don't use quotes. It's something that I keep forgetting to put in here, but I remember when it comes across, but to prevent you guys making that mistake, we do not use direct quotes. Any questions about that? Okay. So what's your homework assignment for tonight?
Submit a one-page double-spaced document about our two-part hologram. Practice skills.
Using the skills you learned today, so you have the printout here, so you don't have to remember every single thing. It's all there for you to use. Please refer to it. The email address I want you guys to send that to should be on the paper on the last slide there. Any questions? I want you guys to do this right, and I want you guys to benefit from it. So any questions about anything I just talked about? Yes.
Do you want us to use like a topic sentence like in English, or topic sentences?
Go right into it. I don't want to see any introductions. I don't want to see any topic sentences. Just go right into it. Confused? Yes.
Is there a specific heading we should be using?
Heading?
Yes.
I'm not gonna count that. No, I just want you to go right into it. Just type it, put your name on it. That's all I want. Yes.
So we just talk about what we did, or
So summarize the case. Summarize what you did, what you learned, the research that you found, and what you learned from the case. So, and using in scientific writing. So that means you're going to have to explain what you learned. What is the difference between a hologram and Pepper's Ghost? How are they different? Why do people think that they are similar? How are they different?
Yeah, so we have like no paragraphs then? Like if we just go right into it?
What do you mean?
Like, you said you don't want us writing topic sentences. So how are we supposed to break up? But
You guys are overthinking this. Relax. Everyone breathe in. Breathe out. I want you, it's only one page. If you have to use a different paragraph, use a different paragraph to break it up. But you don't have to put first, second, the main idea was just give me the facts. Make sure it's fluid, make sure it flows, make sure I can read it and it makes sense. But don't overthink it. Just give me the facts. I know it's, and I would even suggest you guys to write in the style that you're used to. If it helps you to just start with the introduction, do it. Go for it. For me, when I type in so much slang because it helps me put my ideas on paper. And then when you go back and proofread it, you can clean it up. But at least your ideas are there. Okay, so if it helps you to do the 5-paragraph style and then like shrink it down, it'll take you so much time. But when it'll make you feel comfortable, I don't have to see your first draft. So do that, go through it, erase, and voila. That's like the best way to write. I guarantee you. I still do it. I'm in my pharmacy program. I'll be Dr. Brown in 2 years. I still write in slang and crazy sentences and swears and everything. Everything I can think of, just to put it on paper. And then I go back and I clean it up. But you have to clean it up.
Yeah,
You can't write swears in your paper and not clean it up. You have to. Any other questions? Any other anxiety points about this assignment? We're a family, guys. We're gonna grade for this paper. Your name will be X'd out so no one will know who it belongs to unless you voluntarily tell them. But yeah, that's your assignment.
Are looking for particularly in high school and English classes, like just banned words, you can't use is or and or ones. But is that a big thing inside of the
I would say go for it and we'll see when we get there. I'm not sure. Yes.
Okay, so about the passive active voice thing. If Microsoft Word doesn't catch it as passive voice, it should be acceptable, right? Because I'm really bad about passive voice because in chemistry when we did lab reports, it was passive voice, like that's what you were supposed to.
That's the conflict with scientific writing. When you're writing a summary, it's never passive. When you're writing a lab report, sometimes you can't avoid it. And we'll talk about that when we get to that portion. But for this purpose, active voice. If you have to reconstruct this whole sentence or idea, do that. But active voice.
But like if Microsoft Word doesn't flag it as passive, it should be fine, right?
Don't rely on, what she's trying to say is don't rely on Word to tell you. You need to know how to do it. Rely on Word for spelling, but its grammar is based on general writing grammar. You're not writing general writing anymore. You're scientific writing.
It has
Don't use that. I know it's there and it exists and it's really nice that it exists, but it's not accurate. And it will get you in trouble sooner or later. So it's better right now if you start to learn to do it on your own and not rely on Word to do it for you. Say it again.
I'm gonna have to get an English book.
That's okay. You're here to learn. That's what college is about.
Any other questions about it? No one's going to teach you this in college, guys, but the expectation is that you already know it. So while we're here, ask me. I'll let you know. We're good? Okay, 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'll get 19 different papers, right? Everyone's going to submit it, and I'll choose at random 3 or 4 that we're going to go over in class. Okay? All right, you guys been great.